All right, let's get to what you've been waiting for. All right, we have different gifts according to the grace given us. Okay, everyone has different gifts. And look at this, according to the grace given us. What's grace again? God's unearned, undeserved favor. So what is this saying? This is saying that God is the one who gives us the gifts, and He is the one that chooses which gifts we will have. Okay, and so we might want a certain gift, and I would say if you don't have a gift and you want it, I say pray for it. Okay, like I don't have the gift of organization and administration, but I want it bad. And I pray all the time, like, God, please hook me up. Like I'm the most unorganized person I've ever met, and I need that gift, please. Okay, I buy organization books, like thick ones, and don't read them. That's how unorganized I am. It's bad. Okay, so God, please give me that gift. It is a spiritual gift, administration. It really is. And so if you're like an organization freak and you can understand plans and charts and graphs, and that's you. Okay, and you are a gift to me. Okay, because I don't have that thing. And some of you I've talked to in here, and you're like, man, I read the Bible and I have no clue what it's saying. And then you come in and you just totally open it up, and well, that's my gift. You get it? And my gift is for you, not for me. Do I benefit from it too? I do. Just like you will get a joy out of using your gift when you serve others. God did make it so that when we serve and use our gifts, we get enjoyment and satisfaction out of it for His glory. So, here's the first one He mentions. If a man's gift is prophesying, let him use it in proportion to his faith. Okay, let me ask a question first. We need to do some like homework on this. Not homework, just groundwork. Anyone ever hear of the term cessationists? Put your hand up. Eddie, wow, okay. There's two positions on what we will call miraculous gifts. The miraculous gifts in the New Testament look like this: healing, prophecy, tongues, workers of miracles. Like Jesus was the ultimate supernatural gift guy. Like constantly healing people, raising the dead, casting out demons, just supernatural. Supernatural means simply not normal. Okay, there are things that happen every day in normal everyday life. You eat, you drink, you go to the bathroom, you watch television, you turn on the radio. Those are just normal everyday things. Supernatural are when something not normal happens. People that see apparitions, or something lights up in the sky and you're like, what was that? Supernatural, just not normal, not natural. And so within the range of gifts, there are what we will call the supernatural gifts. Okay, so you're very sick and someone prays for you and you get miraculously healed. The doctors can't explain it. What happened? Supernatural. What normally happens is the doctors, go through procedures with medicines and surgeries, and you get better. And that's the normal way God designed us to get better, doctors. But sometimes supernaturally, people get, anyone ever know anybody, or you yourself have been healed? Okay, I have personal experience here. Someone in my family had like a cancer and they were prayed for, and boom, the doctors have no clue what happened. Well, she got prayed for and she got supernaturally, miraculously healed. Okay, I am not a cessationist. Okay, here's the cessationist position. The cessationist position is at the closing of the New Testament and the death of the apostles, the miraculous supernatural gifts stopped. That is the cessationist position. And let me say this, there are highly biblical scholars that hold this position. This is not a heretical position. This is not a, like if you are a cessationist, you're a weirdo. 3 of my top 10 Bible teachers are cessationists. John MacArthur, R.C. Sproul, James Boyce, and a number of other guys who are solid. I mean, they write commentaries. Their ministries are huge. They're highly biblical. They believe that the gifts have ceased. Okay? Here's my position. I was I don't know if I'm going to coin this term or not, but I used to be a semi-cessationist. Okay, and here's what my position used to be. My position used to be that in America, with Bibles everywhere, like how many of you don't have 3 Bibles? Right? That's what I thought. And the internet is like so in our face that it's on my phone as soon as I turn it on and hit a button. And you can Google any Bible passage and get hundreds of websites, hundreds of teachings. So my view was, okay, in America where the Bible is so prevalent and preachers and churches are in every corner, we don't need sign miraculous gifts here. So in America, we don't see those. That was my position. But since I am in a Christian Missionary Alliance Church, if you've ever been here, you've heard stories on the mission field of crazy supernatural things going on all the time. And they do. Just talk to Pastor Dan and ask him for a couple good missionary stories and you'll be blown away. Sometimes they come across on our videos. Sometimes they come across in missionaries that visit our church. Demonic encounters from, miraculous healings to the one story that was most recent. Maybe some of you will remember this one. A guy got a sense that he was supposed to transport Bibles into an illegal country. As he was transporting these Bibles, he was on a dark back road. His car went off the side of the road. It was in the rain, and he was thinking come on, God. You told me to do this. I did this. I risked myself. All of a sudden, in the rain, he gets a knock on the window, and he's like, what the heck? He rolls down the window, and the guy rapping on the window says, did you bring the books? And he's like, what? And he's like, did you bring the books? And he was like, yeah, I brought the books. And here this guy had a vision the night before that someone was going to come and bring them books that would teach them the ways of God and the way to salvation. And the whole village got Bibles. And this guy had no clue who God was, who the God of the Bible was. All he knew was he got a vision. He was supposed to go to this road at this time, meet this guy, and this guy would give them the books that would show them what they needed to know. Okay, that stuff happens all the time on the mission field. Terrorists, all kind of stories about terrorists having visions of Jesus, reoccurring visions. Jesus comes to them and says, repent. And they have these reoccurring dreams, and they flee the country, they become Christians, and they come here. All kind of stuff on the mission field. So for me, it was like, okay, how do you explain all this stuff in foreign countries where this miraculous stuff's going on? So what I was a semi-cessation. Okay, that'll be my position. I'm no longer a semi-cessationist, and I'm not a cessationist. In other words, I believe that the miraculous gifts do exist here in America today, and they have not ceased. Why would people like R.C. Sproul, John MacArthur, James Boyce, and other, just monster theologians, why would they think these gifts would cease? Well, turn to 1 Corinthians 13, which is one book from Romans over.
What was it?
1 Corinthians 13. You guys will know this if you've ever been to a wedding, because this is the verses that get read at weddings, every wedding, right? Verse 4, love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't envy, it doesn't boast, it's not proud, it's not rude, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Who has never heard that at a wedding? Okay, that's like the wedding text. What's interesting is in context, it has nothing to do with married people. It has everything to do with spiritual gifts. Because Corinthians 12 is all about spiritual gifts, and Corinthians 14 is all about spiritual gifts, and it's like couched right in the middle. So what's it about? Spiritual gifts. Hey, the love part is still true, though. It still is the definition of love, and it still is true. So I'm not saying it's wrong to read that at weddings. It's not. So, watch this. Verse 8, love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when the perfection comes, the imperfect will disappear. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child, and I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Now we see but a poor reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Okay, so the cessationists use this verse, and it says, okay, where there's prophecies, they will cease. Where there's tongues, they will be stilled. Where there's knowledge, it'll be done with. The question is, though, when is this going to happen? Okay, this is the debatable part of this text, and that's why I said if we do 1 Corinthians, we'll just be one big debate for years. Because this is, 1 Corinthians is one of the most debated books in the Bible. I mean, it's just that kind of book.